Hello on the Rockers. On this episode, we get a little international in celebrating women storytellers with Emmy-nominated documentary maker, performer, and musician, visiting from England, by the way, Sarah McGuiness, currently appearing at the Hollywood Fringe Festival. We are also joined by Filipino-American comedian and filmmaker Ana Tuazon Parsons, currently in the Emmy consideration race. We are all over the map today. With my co-host model musician Steven Dehler and me, your sassy host with the sassy most, buttons and bows and pantyhose. We are On the Rocks Podcast.
The place where too glam to give a damn. Raise a glass.
It's On the Rocks.
Thank you for being
Boulevard.
Life is a banquet, and most poor suckers are starving to death.
I'd like to propose a toast.
This is On the Rocks with Alexander, where I drink with your favorite celebrities as we talk about fashion, entertainment, pop culture, reality TV, and, well, that's about it. So pop a cork, lean back, and raise a glass to On the Rocks.
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Lord have mercy. Welcome to the show. Follow us on Instagram and on TikTok at On the Rocks on Air, and on Facebook, On the Rocks Radio Show. Send us an email. Book us for a pride, wedding, funeral, quinceañera, bris. We don't care. We'll show up. Info at ontherocksradioshow.com. Also send us your comments, guest requests, and your guest questions. Also, San Diego, we are on the scene June 20th. We are taking over the San Diego County Fair on the main paddock stage all day.
Yes.
I don't think San Diego was ready for us.
Yeah, you're not
All
ready
day.
for us, for sure. I'm not ready for us,
They
to be
better
honest.
switch our bags before we go in. That's all I got to say.
Well, this show is presented by Straw Hut Media. You can watch and or listen to every one of our over 400 episodes at ontherocksradioshow.com, YouTube, Facebook Watch, on I Love Gay LGBTQ, blah, blah, and Bear World Magazine.
Okay. You know us gays, we love our divas, right? And we are double blessed today. I want doubly blessed. Double D's. Well, just me. Just me.
We got 4 divas in the room today.
Yeah, that's a lot of divas. Let's introduce these powerhouse lady storytellers and get right to it. Sarah McGuiness, and I always feel like I need to say it like that, but I don't really need to. It's not in my contract. International maven of music, this British bombshell, after 20 years of numerous writing, directorial, and design credits, including her Emmy and BAFTA-nominated film work, she released her debut album, Unbroken, in 2018 and hasn't looked back since. Taking to the radio, taking to stages around the globe, she continues releasing music and has meshed her love of music and storytelling into a series of cabarets and is visiting the States to perform her current one-woman show, Grit, Glitter, and Gaslight, at the renowned Hollywood Fringe Festival, playing through June 28th. The show, it's her cabaret brings to life her life. Do you like how I typed that out?
Yeah.
But using the songs by David Bowie, Kate Bush, Kurt Weill, Stephen Sondheim, and from musical Cabaret, along with her own original music. It's part memoir, it's part cabaret. The show traces her journey from a childhood on the Irish border in Derry to international success, exploring identity, family, belonging, and the experience of growing up feeling different. We can relate. She also dishes on her celebrity friends and foes. I put friends and foes in there just to make it spicy.
That's pretty true.
Yeah. We are going to get the
Saucy.
dirt. All right, please welcome Sarah McGuiness.
Yes!
Also joining us, Ana Parsons, born in Olongapo.
Olongapo.
Wow, I'm so, yeah. These are my people, too. Born in the Philippines. She's a first-generation immigrant. Look at that family pic. She grew up balancing tradition, ambition, and a very specific brand of Catholic guilt that we're going to hear all about. She began her theater career in theater, performing nationally and internationally, including an international Broadway tour opposite David Arquette. What? We're going to hear about that. She also worked with Philip Seymour Hoffman's Labyrinth Theater Company at the Public Theater in New York. She has since worked across stage and screen with television credits, including The Affair, Dexter, and most recently in season 4 on the Netflix series The Lincoln Lawyer. And as a stand-up comic, she is a main stage regular at the Comedy Store, Ice House Pasadena, and Gotham Comedy Club. Her self-produced 3-comic special, Asian Americanized, and an immigrant comedy special. There's a lot of words here. It was hailed by the Los Angeles Times as a triumphant and raw conversation about surviving in America. She serves as showrunner, creator, and executive director, and featured comic of Jokes with Joysauce, a groundbreaking stand-up series dedicated exclusively to Asian American comedians, streaming on Joysauce TV's Fast Channel and Amazon Live TV. The show was created to expand visibility for AAPI performers in mainstream comedy and has become a huge platform for bold, culturally specific voices. She didn't wait for representation. She built this show herself. She's amazing and currently in the run for Emmy consideration with Jokes with Joysauce. It's the first original series from an AAPI-owned network ever eligible for consideration in the category at the Primetime Emmy Awards. Get it, girl!
Get it, girl.
Let's take a quick look. Ooh, that was our quick look. Please welcome Ana Parsons.
Yeah!
Hollywood magic. What I love about bringing you both in together, you could be from farther parts of the world, but music and stand-up intertwine in your lives so much. Anna, you were a punk rock girl. Music and musical theater, part of your life. Sarah, singing very early with your mom and sisters. In Ireland, and Anna, stand-up comic. Sarah, you discovered many stand-up comics. Even ran your own clubs. Yeah, we're going to get into that. Wow. And both of you are powerhouse women who didn't wait for anybody else. You've created your own platforms to tell your stories. So this is the match of all matches. So we just want to dive in.
Fight!
Imagine Mortal Kombat. Well, we're having...
better. Catholic. Oh my God. Yeah.
Catholic here too. Catholic guilt here too.
Same.
We're all Catholic. Aren't we a fine testament for the Catholic Church?
I know, right?
Can you imagine that campaign? Don't end up like these degenerates.
Join the Catholic Church.
There's a piece of Buckingham Pearl somewhere. Do you know I have 4 certificates at home that say head altar boy? The joke writes itself. Yeah. The joke.
I was so dumb that I chose my confirmation name as my regular name, not knowing that they add it to your name. So I'm like, my name is Steven Edward Steven Dehler, and I'm like, oh, awesome.
So what we like to start on the show is we like to start our origin stories. Whether you're a superhero or a supervillain, we all have our origin stories. So born in Derry, Ireland. What did you learn right away about life growing up there, singing with your family, that shapes who you are still today?
It was weirder, Alex. I wasn't born there. We moved there because just before the shit hit the fan, which everybody knows it does with the Troubles, my dad was English Protestant, my mum was Irish Catholic. And she wasn't involved in any of it. And of course, it wasn't like that. There was a long period, like 40, 50 years of peace. So it was beautiful. I mean, it's gorgeous over there. Everything was lovely, very old fashioned. And my dad had been in the Blitz, in London. He was like, I'd like to bring my kids up somewhere else. So they go, I know, let's go there. And then the shit hits the fan and the bombs start going on. He's going, what have I brought these kids into? So it was like really bad timing.
And those were like your first memories?
Yeah.
Wow.
So really good.
That's one hell of a cabaret. Start off with a bang, literally.
Yeah, but you talk about superheroes. I became Ultra Scout. And the whole show is about the Ultra Scout thing. I'll fix everything.
Awesome.
I'll fix it. Because, my parents were like, and I started absolutely losing it, thinking they're going to, when I was only this high, going, oh my God. And I was really hyper bright, annoying kid that everyone wants to punch. Didn't mean to be. You know how if you don't mean to be, but other people assume that's some kind of an insult. You're like, I'm just being me. I'm trying to help. I'm trying to help. And I was really terrified because I thought my parents would split up. Wow. Because my dad's brother had actually also had an Irish wife. He had moved as well. So kind of interesting. Their family all wanted to get out of London because whatever went on during the Blitz, I don't know. They were all little. But anyway, so he abandoned his child and got a lift with us when we were going over to meet.
That's an awkward car ride. Can you imagine?
Well, we didn't know. Right. And he didn't tell Dad. We only found out that he had left her and they'd taken the ride with us. My mother never knew. So I was holding all that guilt and that fear. And then I was like, right, because I'm really bright, I'll learn everything. So I would learn and learn and learn and learn. And I'd read all the books, the medicine books. And all the cookery book. It was really ridiculous. But I didn't remember any of this until I started doing the bloody show. And then suddenly all the bits start coming apart and you go, that's not normal, Sarah. It's actually okay to be crazy because that shit's not normal. And it went on and on and on. And so I got very, very isolated because, over there, it's very closed society, very small. Lots of land, not a lot of people. So it's like this. So you've got, on the one hand, you've got the loyalists, the orange men who consider themselves British and they're burning houses down. And on the other side, you got the Catholics going, you shouldn't be in our country, why don't you get out? And then they come up with this brilliant solution that they'll divide it up. And the north will be part of Britain. Ha! Sound familiar? And the south will be. Yeah. So we can't even go there. But that's it. And it all over the bloody world, the British did it. And it's not like I'm particularly anti-British because I consider myself British. Yeah. But it's just looking at it from the middle And very, very few people in my position where we had to stay because we couldn't afford to leave. So if we could have afforded to leave, we'd have been out of there like a shot. But that's the situation most people find themselves in, and they're underrepresented. And I'm sure you've got very similar kind of, there are many, many things that cross over. But what is weird about Northern Ireland is you've got people who look the same, hating each other, and you're like,
isn't that crazy?
What? And so it gives you a really peculiar insight, and having been stuck right in the middle, and there was nobody else I ever knew who was in that situation. You kind of sink or swim, and I did sink for many, many years. And this is me coming back around and going, you have a platform, you can describe what it is like and see both sides and go, it doesn't have to be this way. All sounds very heavy, but it is actually funny, I promise you.
Sounds like a hoot. Can't wait to see it.
No. I can't wait to the next party. It sound like that. It goes, it's like this.
Pour me another drink. No, but that's.
I swear it's not really gloom and doom. I did a terrible pitch. Scratch that.
Can you imagine? Sell it to Broadway. No, but it's funny because you also have themes, and we're going to get into your origin story as well. But the story is, no matter what happens to us, we as entertainers are resilient, and we come through. And so I'm going to ask you: was music kind of your safe space then?
Music was everything. I think it's what kept me sane. But then what happened when I kind of crossed over was it was bullied and battered out of me, literally physically. And then I just got so afraid, and I got so ridiculed and mocked for it that I lost that. And I think what's the fundamental part of this show? It's like you lose your voice, you lose your song. And in many ways, then I discovered that through my life, I had actually literally lost my voice. I was having dreams about screaming and no sound would come out. And other people take your voice, and then other people speak for you, but they have you working for them.
Yeah.
And that happened a lot. And I love what you have done, where you've done all this. But for me, I was doing it from the point of view going, I'd better do this. I better be ultra scout. I got to fix everybody else. I got to do. And inside, I'm like, and I think there's a huge number of people that feel that way. And usually you never come out of it. You just keep on doing that till you die, and you die of resentment and autoimmune diseases. Yeah. That's the fact of the matter. And because I had a near-death experience about a year ago, I had COVID for 6 weeks, and I was like, it was getting really scary. And I suddenly went, wow, I can't do that. Because when you're in that situation, you're very vulnerable. So you get very manipulated by other people. And I let other people do that for decades. So awful stuff was said about me. It was all false, and I couldn't do anything. Oh yeah, I must be bad. I'm a bad girl. Catholic guilt. I'm a bad girl. The whole time, you know. And then eventually, when it came to that, like the year before last, I just suddenly went, no, I am not going to die of this crappy disease and never stand up for myself and never correct the lies and never do the thing I was put on this earth to do. And that's where this show came from. It was a huge change for me, and I knew it was probably going to be shit, and I was it's not shit anymore though.
And it's funny when mortality comes into our lives in such a real way, it changes the way you think about your past and everything on a dime,
and your fear just goes doesn't matter anymore because you might not be here.
And now you're telling your story and you get it out. Not many people can say, oh, I should have done that, and
I would have been. I would have. I was getting all kinds of autoimmune diseases, and I was going, oh my God, I've seen this pattern. I've seen this pattern in so many people of similar backgrounds, when you're frustrated. And I just thought, I'm not going to be a statistic, not after everything I've done. I've never got credit for. So you made my CV sound marvelous, darling. Thank you so much.
Well, not to be upstaged.
It ain't quite like that, kids.
But not to be upstaged, Emma, not be upstaged. As if the stories couldn't get, bigger.
Who wants more trauma?
But it's funny that comedy is such a big part of your life, because if we didn't laugh at certain things,
right, how to survive it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But Anna, you said this is in Jokes with Joysauce. You say that you were pretty much smuggled into the U.S. when you were 2 years old. Your mom had this epic journey. Can you share it with us?
Yeah. So my mom got pregnant. She was working on a Navy base in Olongapo in her 40s, late 40s. Didn't know she was pregnant, like the TV show. Was hooking up with some guy at a naval base. Got pregnant, and she decided she wanted me to have a better life. She was set up in the Philippines, but was like, I want her to, just be better. So she paid someone off and brought me into the States. Didn't even tell her sister. Her sister was already here in the States, and she called her up and she was like, hey, I'm here. And she brought me here, and I was born 3 pounds 2 ounces. I was a miracle baby.
Wow.
And then, typical immigrant mom. She worked a billion jobs. Then she passed away when I was 7, and I was adopted by her sister, and I was raised by Annie and Ron. So, yeah, she was a fighter, and it probably, I think, lives in me.
Right.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And you've talked about you came into your Filipino culture later in life.
Yeah, I'm a born again Filipino.
Yeah. But it's funny because my family, my mom was first generation immigrant, and we were told, keep that Hispanic part of you out. Don't speak Spanish. Because all the
you don't really
stereotypes.
speak a lot of Spanish, do you?
I can't speak. I can't even order a Del Taco. Like, it's embarrassing. I can't roll my R's.
He has to call me up, and he's like, "Can you just do this for me?"
So what was it like growing up, trying to be so American, and then later coming into your culture? And what have you learned about the Filipino culture that you enjoy so much being a part of?
It's interesting because I feel like I understand my mom now, because the assimilation was her safe space. Assimilation and fitting in was like, she wanted to be safe, and being safe was being white. So I get that now. It was hard to now as I'm getting older, I'm like, man, I really wish that it was brought into our lives more, but just, I guess, through theater and through storytelling and through stand-up comedy, I've really discovered my Filipino-ness, and we're fucking awesome. We make great food. We can sing. We can all sing. So.
Yeah, some of the best singers I see are Filipinos. Like, why does everyone in that country can sing?
Yeah.
Yay, stereotypes.
Yeah. No, I do.
Look at that one email from that one Filipino viewer.
It's like, no, we can't all
sing. Just so you know.
And it sends us a video of him not being able to sing.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, probably really good.
I seriously.
It's going to be way better than what I can do, for sure.
I joke that if you show me a Filipino who can't sing, and I'll show you a Republican who meditates. It it doesn't. It really does not exist.
Yeah.
I like that one.
So I want to talk about how theater was such a big part of your early entertainment years. Sarah, you picked up and moved to London when you were 18 years old.
Yeah.
Was that culture shock? And was that a hard
it
decision
shouldn't be,
leaving?
because I was thinking that the reason I wasn't accepted in Northern Ireland was because I was English, and that's what they would tell me. But then I get back to London, and the first thing I hear is, "All right, Paddy," from quite aggressive English people, and I'm going, "But I'm one of you. Look, I'm one of you." And again, it's like, it's not always appearance. It's how you sound. It's how you conduct yourself. It's so many different things. So that was a terrible shock. But for me, the musical theatre was everything. And I mean, I was really not good. And I was very, very frightened. All the fear had come into me because, when you're bullied constantly for many years throughout your teenage age, you do just lose things that you thought you could do, you can't do anymore, because you start second guessing and third guessing and fourth guessing yourself, and you actually start being shit. Am I allowed to say shit?
Yeah, you do whatever you want.
I said
You
the
can
F
do
word.
whatever you
You're
like.
from the UK. You're from the UK. You can do whatever you want. Yeah.
Anything could happen.
It's so funny you saying that and knowing everything that you've accomplished in your life.
It's all been a battle. What this was the biggest fear of all, which was to acknowledge, exactly like you, acknowledge that I was Irish, because I wasn't doing that. That's not, that was my mother's name, McGuinness. I couldn't take that on. I couldn't take on the Irish because I didn't know what I was. And now you do get a bit older and you start going, no, let's look into this. Let's dig into this. And actually now, finally, the last couple of years, I'm going, I don't care what you think I am. I'm just going to do what I am. And it is such a, oh my God, it's just, your whole life opens up. Everything relaxes. You remember things. And it sounds like you've had a similar kind of, where something happened and you can't understand, why did they do that? And then you start going, oh my God, I know it viscerally why they did that.
Yeah.
I know why that must have happened. And you look at timeline. A friend of mine always goes, look at timeline. He's a lawyer. He goes, look at timeline. And then you go, well, that happened then. And then you look at the historical shit that was going on and you go, oh my God, that's a cause and effect. Oh, then that's why. And you never think of your life like that. It's only as a kid where you're going, why did you do this? And you're sort of battling with it.
As a matter of fact at that time.
Yeah. And then you go, oh, because that happened, that's why they made that decision that I thought was terrible. But they thought it was a good decision because they didn't have that before or whatever. Like, there's a thing, John Hume, Nobel laureate, he won the Nobel Peace Prize for helping to broker peace in Northern Ireland. My parents moved from this lovely country, beautiful place, but it was rental. And Catholics didn't get to own houses. It was, it was mostly a gerrymandered district. It's all sounding so familiar here in America suddenly.
How crazy is that?
I used to have to explain what that meant when I was in America. Now suddenly everybody goes, we know what that is now. Yep. And I'm going, oh my God, can I just wave a flag bigger and go, look. But Derry was gerrymandered, so 30% of the people ran 100% of everything, and 70% of Catholics, and they were all outside the walls in like slums and tenements, and they all had houses, so they got votes, and all the Catholics didn't get votes.
How crazy is that?
Yeah, so John Hume was trying to do that, but what he
this
did
is recent history too. We're not talking about some faraway time.
It's stuff that's still happening even in the States right now.
And he created the thing, the credit union. I don't know, do you have that here? You can imagine what that is.
Yeah.
But that didn't exist, so Catholics couldn't get loans because you couldn't get enough money. So he created it, and of course my parents said, oh my God, we can buy a house now. So they bought a house right in the middle of Derry. So out we came, this beautiful countryside right in the middle of Derry, and then kaboom, the whole thing blew up. So it's just, sometimes it's like, what's the Woody Allen character? He just ends up in the middle of everything. Who is that? I can't remember. Anyway, old age. And you just kind of go, that's kind of what my parents, they made every wrong decision, but they were trying to make the best decision. And then I'm going, oh my God, I can't carry anymore, please. Oh and my mom, now I realize, was autistic. Didn't know that. We just thought she was crazy. So I had to kind of carry the responsibility because she could. Right. But then when you think, there was no contraception in that town, absolutely forbidden. So they had to just keep having more kids. They couldn't manage it.
That's the Catholic way.
And we literally...
way too. It's like...
and it's starting to become more than just that. It's starting... does this not sound awfully familiar all of a sudden?
Yeah.
And this is what happens. Keep them barefoot and pregnant.
Yeah.
But once you did get acclimated in London, you're on your own. You're finally able to have your own voice. Can you share a little bit what you loved about kind of those early days in London? I can imagine with the music, what was happening with theatre, with everything.
God, I would have done anything, Alex. Honest God, I'd have turned up to the opening of an envelope. I wanted to be in a band, be a rock chick, but that was just because I'd learned Gilbert and Sullivan. I didn't. Yeah. I thought, you have one voice. That's what you sound like. Of course, anybody that goes to any singing lesson ever knows that that's not true. You learn how to, you've done all of that. You know that. I didn't know that. I thought you were just given this thing, because that's how they talked about it in Ireland. God-given. I didn't realize, no, you develop it, you change it, you do stuff with it. So they're going, hello, 3 little men, school, and I want to be a rock chick, and I'm so angry, and I'm like, 3 little men. And I humiliated myself in auditions where they're like, step away. Oh my God. Oh, what
I can imagine that too. They're like,
yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was a bit like, and you don't know, and you're going, what do I do? And I was a real trier, so I try to be more whatever the hell somebody wanted me to be. I was such a pleaser, and I'll tell you, last 18 months, that shit stopped. I'm loving it. I'm like, we're not doing that. Yeah. And I'm like, listen to me.
Yes, girl, yes.
I'm saying no. Oh my God, I've never said no in my life. I was like, I'll take anything. And it's after a lifetime of doing that, I'm suddenly going, what the hell? How do you end up in that state? But it's kind of interesting to use this now as a tool to discover it and go, I think I've had so much reaction after shows, people going, that's my story. And I'm going, well, it certainly can't be. But what they mean is, and I mean so many different people from so many different situations.
Well, just like
universal.
Today. Right. And what we find on the show, it's like we're all from different points of view and experiences. We all want the same thing.
Yes. Oh my God.
So why do we fight so much?
From your mouth to God's ears, for God's sake, that is it. We do all want the same things. Yeah. So it's just arguing over tiny points of difference. I can't stand it. It just doesn't make sense to my ADHD brain. I'm like, yeah, but we're saying the same thing, just in different ways. Right. So we're all so alike, really. We are all so alike, and you wouldn't believe it if you turn on the TV.
Yeah.
So there's so many things that you like see, and also you're like, oh, is that like the same experience I had? Like when you're like in like elementary school and like doing like the like playing around with like the eraser, like, oh wait, you did that too, you did that too, you did that too. Oh, we all did that. Like we all are very, very similar.
And there's certain themes that keep us together as well, and we'll get into this as we drink a little bit more. Like grief is a thing that you don't. Let me help. Oh no, how's that? But like grief unifies us all, no matter old, young, rich, poor, gay, straight, whatever culture.
Yeah.
Grief affects everybody, and that's
so
such a
true.
unifier. And we're so afraid to talk about grief. But we'll get into that. I want to talk about you getting into the theater too. You were at Santa Monica College.
Yeah.
A teacher tells you, hey, you should audition for New York schools.
Yeah.
And you did, and you got in, and then you head to New York to study musical theater.
Sure did.
What was that audition piece that cinched it?
Oh, wait. First of all, I want to tell you guys before I forget.
Tell your story, girl.
My cat's, for real, my cat's name is Sondheim.
No. Okay.
That's the clip that we
What kind
played
of cat
earlier.
is it?
Yeah, I was like, I
The
cannot
cat Sondheim was her
forget.
gay husband, by the way. He's a makeup artist.
So it's Sondheim.
He loves Sondheim.
You love Sondheim.
There was something else about your husband that's pretty gay. I forget what it was.
Why did you say it like that?
Because he was a makeup artist, Sondheim.
He
and
loves
it was-
musical theater.
There was like a trifecta there, and the third thing.
Well, he's a great cook, you know.
All of us like,
That could be gay or not.
This is
gay.
all good though.
Okay.
This is all good. I'm going, yeah, this all sounds just
she's like, I want a gay.
I want a gay husband too.
frankly.
Well, I auditioned for, funny story, I auditioned for Juilliard as my first #1 school. And
Wasn't that the worst audition you've
you
ever
that was
been
the
at?
worst
You have that
audition
in
I've
common.
ever had.
So I was second year at Chapman in Southern California,
Yeah.
and my teacher said you need to audition
For Juilliard.
Juilliard and Tisch School of the Arts came,
Yeah.
and we drove all the way up to San Francisco and drove back. My mom, my mom,
Oh.
such a supporter, but Juilliard was one of the most terrifying things I've ever
terrifying.
done. Yeah.
Terrifying.
And then like move around the room like an
my
animal.
animal
Did you get that
exercise.
too?
Yes.
I was like, fuck you.
Michael Collins just sitting there judging you. You're like, is my lion good enough?
What animal did you do? I want to know.
Well, so what's funny is it was a terrible audition because at the time I was not, I didn't know I was Asian. So I chose Of Mice and Men, the monologue Curly's wife does.
No, I'm dying. I'm dying.
I'm like, and she's like living on a farm, and I'm sure I didn't even see them, but I'm sure they were just like, does she even know what she looks like? What is she doing?
Anna, do you know what I did? Why can't the English teach the English how to speak from My Fair Lady? This is weird.
Okay.
They literally put their pencils down. They were like, we're not even going to write anything.
We're amongst very self-aware people.
This chubby Mexican, why can't the English teach our children how to speak?
Wow.
Wow.
You nailed
Wow.
it. She nailed it.
Can I get it?
But I think that's really cool.
That's how oblivious I am.
I don't know about that. I don't think either of you are remotely oblivious. It's like how we're conditioned. It just tells you about how the desire to be that, and it's actually
Well, also, and how much we see, right? Like I
Yes.
auditioned not maybe within the last decade for the actor studio because I wanted to take free classes or whatever, and I did a scene from one of my favorite playwrights, Michael Galamko, called Year Zero. It's a couple Cambodian couple, and I remember looking at them. It's like a sea of white heads and whatever. And then we ended up getting a letter that said, like, could you do basically a white play? Because they didn't understand. Like, they didn't actually get it. Like, they were just like, two Asians on a stage telling their stories. Like, this is very confusing, So, like, I don't know that a lot has changed. I've discovered myself, hopefully. So, yeah. But I love that we were in the trenches doing just very wrong pieces.
But I also had a mom that said, hey, you can play whatever.
I love that.
And I grew up on
I
these
didn't
things
know
too.
that.
Yeah.
I love that.
But I did audition for Tisch, and I actually got in as a transfer student.
Okay.
But my scholarship fell through just for the housing part. The rest of it was taken care of. And I was like, there's no way I could live in New York without anything. So I couldn't go.
Yeah.
But you went. So
Do
I
you
want to hear.
have like a lot of
Like, what would have happened?
yeah.
I even had like a farewell concert. You telling like where I'm at, and I was saying goodbye to everybody. Everybody cried.
And then you go home.
Yeah. No, and I was supposed to move in at the end of August. It was August 1st, and they're like, okay, well, you need first payment for your housing. And they're like, well, I have a scholarship, and they're like, oh, it doesn't cover housing.
Oh my God, I'm gonna cry.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's-
but you know
yeah.
what?
Like-
It taught me because that was the first ever big rejection I had ever had in
Yeah.
my life, and it was such like I'm going to be on Broadway. Who knows what would
And it was
have
rejection
happened.
off of a technicality, not really because you weren't accepted.
Yeah, but my mom had a lot of guilt because she was working. My mom worked 3 jobs. No. It's not to make anybody sad, but it's just like even if you work so hard towards something, some things might just not.
It's just outside of your
Yeah.
reach.
And my mom just felt so defeated because she was working 3 jobs. Like there's nothing more that we could do. But you know what? How happy am I with my life right now?
Yeah.
And everything and the people that I get to meet.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
That's my cue.
Lego. But for Tischler's, I sang Sondheim's Evening Primrose. It was Take Me to the World. I don't
Go
know
on,
if you
go
know
on,
that.
show us. Go on,
No,
go on.
I have so many years,
You can't keep teasing us.
I know.
Oh, you
It's
little
singing.
tease.
Do it, Alexander, do it.
Don't ask me to sing.
Don't make me dance.
There's a show right here.
God, I love the show.
Is he tempted?
Yeah,
I know. He's about to do it.
No.
Yeah.
But Anna, so moving
Give
to New
him one
York,
more drink.
moving to New York from SoCal, that's a big culture shock as well. What was the hardest thing to acclimate to? And do you have any early audition horror stories?
I think the hardest thing, I guess maybe the weather, but when I landed in New York, I felt like I was home. Like I was like, oh,
It clicked for you.
everybody is a different color. Like, because I grew up in Goleta, which is just very white. And so for me, when I just got off that plane, I was like, wow, this is where I'm meant to be the whole time.
That's lucky because a lot of people get so scared and they're like,
No, I mean, I was terrified, but I also felt like it was, but it felt like home,
But it's this fortitude that you have, and it's a fortitude that you have to like, we're going to make it work, and I love making it work.
Yeah, my mom was impressed. She was like, oh, I can't believe you're going to New York City by yourself. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go. I'm going to do it.
But the Metropolis does it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
When you see everyone represented and everyone just getting on with it, it just takes a weight off you, doesn't it? You just go, this is normal. This is humanity. This is great. And everybody just doing their little part.
I think
that's
one thing about New Yorkers is they kind
so
of have
different
that.
than
They kind of have that whole concept in their mind of like, yeah, we're all literally doing the same crap at the same time.
That's it.
Whereas
And it's
LA,
like-
we're just like, I'm special.
And in LA, everybody's trying to, And in LA, everybody's trying to like fake it, right? New York, it's like, this is what I'm going through.
Yeah.
Madonna's next to you on the subway. It's like,
Like, move, girl. I gotta sit here too.
Well, London is very similar. London and New York are really similar.
Yes.
I can see that.
I love London.
But yeah, LA
I love
is
London
different.
more
I think.
than New York, to be honest.
Yeah, but
Except the
there
food
is that
sucks, sorry.
same vibe of everybody just, coming together and going, we're a team, all of us together. And
It's
that's
like they don't
just how
care
it
who
is.
you are, but then they care who you are at the same time. It's a weird...
Thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could be whatever in New York and make it. LA, you're just...
Well, London, I sit on the tube and they're so but if something happens to you, they go, "You're right."
Yeah.
You're right,
That's
mate."
interesting.
And it's like, "Oh, you are there."
Yeah.
But they won't step in unless something bad happens, and that's kind of weirdly comforting. It's just at first you go, "God, nobody will talk to me." And you go, "Hello," and they go, "Oh, weird." And then but
So if
somebody
you're
has a
choking,
go
like,
at
oh
you.
my God, they saved you.
But somebody has a go at you, or you fall over, or somebody harasses you, and they're in.
Yeah.
And then you go, "Oh God, oh that's it, that's the thing." And something similar in New York is slightly different, but it's the same. I just. I at this time I'm just leaning into when there is that community and it just exists, because I just feel like everything's going, it doesn't exist. We're all out to kill each other, and I'm just like, no, it's not true.
But like, look at the 4 of us. When you look, how different could we be? But like, we are a community right now, telling our stories. And that's why, like,
remarkably
it's
similar, darling.
Yeah. And here in LA, if you save somebody from choking, they'll sue you for like breaking their ribs, right?
They'll be like, yes, no,
You
for
broke my
sure.
rib, I'm gonna sue you. It's like, what?
I didn't choose to be alive.
Yeah. I'm Mary H. Parker.
Is that really true?
People sue each other for saving their lives.
Yeah, this happened
because they
before.
broke a rib, and they're like, well, you broke my rib.
Oh my God.
Without any thought to the fact they were trying to stop them
Yeah,
dying.
yeah.
Oh, what? No, that's
But then
an exaggeration.
you can get a police if you're it's called the Good Samaritan law. If you see something and do nothing, you can also be charged. So it's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Yeah.
I'm just gonna go around just going like this. I don't see anything.
But Anna, we have to talk about this Broadway tour with David Arquette. I didn't even know he did theater.
Yeah.
We love David Arquette. He's a huge ally. I wouldn't know that he was strict enough to do theater because we know how strict theater is.
It's really strict. So
especially while traveling.
Yeah, so
Spill the tea, girl.
So it's one of those things where I'd gone to school and my friend Patrick had done the production of Sherlock. It was a reimagining of Arthur Conan Doyle's, like all of his stories put together. Really cool, really modern. And they had done it with Jay Baruchel in Montreal, and then they were taking it on a Broadway tour. And so they were coming into LA, and I think they had written the role out that I was originally going to play, and then they decided it's not going to work without her. So he I think Patrick's, I love him so much. His train of thought was like, how many Asians do I know? And then he was like, you're Asian, and are you still acting? He reached out
Can
to
you
me.
mouth words? Yes.
It was literally like, okay, I'm doing this thing over a Facebook messenger message. Like, hey, girl, are you still acting? Like, we're looking.
You're like, I'm still Asian.
Are you trying to send me into an MLM?
Asians.
Are you still? I'm dying.
They sent me the script. I went in like one day, and like literally like next day got the part, and then we started rehearsals. And then I think already started rehearsals.
Isn't that weird? Something can change so
it
fast.
was
Then it happened like right the next day.
Yeah, like crazy. So, and then we went on tour. And I don't know that David had done a lot of theater previous to the tour, and it's definitely a heightened language. You know, it's
Yeah.
more.
Was it like a learning
I
curve?
can't even put them two together.
Yeah. So
And he was a consummate actor. Was it difficult for you to deal with somebody that?
he's the nicest. Have you guys met him?
Super nice.
He is the nicest actor.
But he's kind of also all over the place.
He is a little all over the place. Yeah.
Well, there are cats.
I think it's an Arquette legacy. You're an Arquette, you have to be all over the place.
Yeah. And it's a good thing.
But not in theater necessarily.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely kept us on our toes. I think, like the tour. I'm not going to say anything.
She's not gonna, damn it! She's not going to give you the juice.
Pour some more
She's too
mixer.
professional, Alex.
Yeah.
I see you digging. I'm digging away there. But
Because
not
I
coming
do
back.
have a great story.
We're getting to you next. With Celebrity Dish. Yeah. And we kind of touched on this, but as a member of the AAPI community, did you ever look at your career and be like, oh, I'm going to be restricted? And, well, obviously not if you're auditioning with crazy songs, but also on screen, seeing what was being represented. Did you think?
I mean, I don't think I ever thought that. I think it just was.
Yeah.
So I think that, like, one of the reasons I started writing, I write TV scripts that primarily revolve around the Filipino-American experience is because I don't see that on television. So it's like I'm writing the worlds that I want to see because I just don't see them. So,
you just have to do that.
Yeah, just gotta make it, you know? So that's me.
All right, Sarah.
Uh-oh. He's going to try. You were too professional. And he's thinking she's had some of this. Let's see if we can get something out of this one. I know
a little bit more.
what's going on in there.
No. So when I read this next section, it just, like, my eyes just open. You were working as a powerhouse behind the theater scenes as well, in comedy, stand-up comedy as well, running the Oxman Theater Company, shows for Edinburgh Festival. You ran the Time Out Street Entertainers Festival. You mounted the World Street Fest in Covent Garden. You also started working, presenting stand-up comedians, funding your own productions, opening a comedy club called The Swan in South London, around the Soho Comedy Club,
a long
Raging
time ago.
Bull.
He deep dives.
Deep dive.
Can you?
I'm scared now. What's going to come next?
Even if the person said, "Hey, I opened up a comedy club." Remember, we had yeah. But there's all of these things that you did that you ran.
And they're all here.
Yes. Where does a young woman in London, all around the globe, where do you get off doing all these things?
I'll tell you.
I love that type of
very,
No,
very.
I mean, not to be sexist, but it's funny. It's like, where'd you get the balls to do that?
I'll tell you, it was desperation because I had no money. Didn't have Rich Daddy to fund career. Didn't have any of that stuff that a lot of people, like in the UK, it's become, you either have that or you just give up on performing. And the one place that you could get into, which for me, I was too afraid to get into personally, but I could manage it and I could bring my Ultra Scout I can manage everything. I can look after everything. I can do all that. Yeah. So I would hide behind that. And what I discovered was everybody wants someone to clean up after them and organize shit for them and do all that. So basically I was mummy. And I found that meant I could get paid and I could function and I could do stuff. So it's not that I really wanted to be organizing all of these things. It was like I could hide in there.
Yeah.
But you did all of this.
I know. Well, it was sort of like, I was reaching for the performing, but I just couldn't do it because I was still very broken inside. I mean, it's taken me many decades. We'll not say how many.
You're 25. She's 25, everyone.
She said,
Still. 25, girl.
But it was a way to be near it and maybe think I could try and get the confidence eventually and be around it and help other performers and do. And I did that for you saw me do when I first met. That's what I was still was doing, and I was good at it. I was adaptable. I could direct. I could organize. I could manage. I could produce. I could learn to do anything, but it wasn't what I wanted to be doing.
Isn't it funny to be so good at something you're just not passionate at, and you're like 10. What's that documentary called? 10 Steps Away from the Spotlight.
Oh, that's a great name.
Yeah,
I love that.
Watch the documentary.
I
It's
will.
really, really good. But how did the shift? How did you get so involved with the stand-up comedy?
Yeah.
Well, because at the time that I was coming up in London, it was really, I mean, Fringe Theatre just cost a bomb, so I'd still keep doing that, but you had to get somebody to fund it.
Right.
And then I noticed that. Yes, actually, I was running a venue in London. In Edinburgh. It was actually Edinburgh Festival. I turned it into a venue, and then it
was like a soup kitchen, right?
It was a soup kitchen, and I turned it into.
I mean, you make do what you need to make do.
Yeah.
That used to be the Edinburgh Fringe. It's not anymore. Now it's just a comedy fest. But it used to be all kinds of stuff, like everything, theatre, weird sort of progressive, mad stuff, all kinds of things. It's mostly not that now. It's become very much more about money because everything just costs so much. You've got to be able to turn over you got to make the money to make it pay. Yeah. But you used to be able to go up with like a toilet in your head and a handbag and make something out of it. You can't do that anymore.
Well, that's where that hit show that came out last year, Bad Reindeer.
Yep.
It started off as a one-man show in Edinburgh Festival, and he did it at like a bar. I mean, and look where it went.
Yeah, I know. It's a very strange show. Yes, I know. I in fact, my show refers to I got myself one of those baby reindeer. She became my nemesis as part of the show, and that's so when I was already vulnerable, she pushed me in further down. But you don't hear any of that. Anyway, you wanted to ask that? Yes. So I ran the soup kitchen, and through it, I put all these people, and I discovered that you could pay for yourself to be in Edinburgh, and maybe pay to put on a production if you were doing all the work of running a venue. So the little bit that you got on top, you could pay for your own venue. I never got paid, but at least I was eating sweets just to survive. I remember having this box of sweets that would be my food for the day. It was ridiculous. But that's where I put through like, do you know Dairy Girls? Do you know Father
Dairy
Ted?
Girls, of course.
Yeah.
You know Father Ted? Father Dougal. Ardlo Hanlon.
Dairy Girls.
His first comedy gig was in my venue.
Wow.
And Eddie Izzard, that's how I met Eddie. He came through
Eddie
that
was
venue.
on our show last month.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Doing his, was it Hamlet or was it
Yes.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And so there were lots of different people that came through, and that's how I then got to know them, and then I continued doing it in London. But London at the time, comedy was like this massive rebellion against mainstream. And there wasn't really, as I now know, there wasn't an equivalent in this country. It was really alternative. I mean, people were like out there, and it was wonderful. It was like this, it was like the birth of rock and roll kind of feeling of being around it. It was just that little period, maybe 7-8 years, late 80s, mid 90s. It was extraordinary to be around. And I knew that I was watching something really special and that it wouldn't be replicated because now they've gone back to mainstream comedy again. You know, they do copies. There was a guy that came up with, I won't mention his name, who was manufactured to be a copy of Eddie, only one that would please the grannies, you know. And there was lots of that, and it just turned back into what everything that they had kind of rebelled. It was the punk version of oh, let me tell you about my mother-in-law, you know. And it was the rebellion against that. And these super bright, intelligent, wonderful guys, they didn't all survive, but wow, they shone bright. Then it's all kind of turned around again.
Eddie did talk about that when she was on the show because she was talking about like, you know, even doing comedy in the streets. Yeah. It was like this rebellion. It was like down, it was like gritty and it was real. And it was
totally.
Because, you know, Eddie's whole like, I don't want to say shtick because that's a wrong connotation, but the way that she presents comedy is so different. Yeah. And I was like, she was able to cultivate that in this environment.
Do you feel that like the way that they're trying to like maintain that like grittiness and like that like harshness is like maybe with like the roasts that they do like on TV, like where they try to roast people? Do you think?
Yeah, but the roasts were here with the Hollywood legends like Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin,
but they were already doing
Phyllis
that
Diller. So
you don't think there's anything nowadays that they're even bringing that out?
I just think like roasts are not smart anymore. It's low-hanging fruit. It's all sex jokes or very stereotypical. They would have to roast people in the old Hollywood days, but they would have to tell these naughty jokes in such a smart way. They got to use your brain.
Totally agree.
Yeah,
Totally
like,
agree.
he's got a big dick. Before they wouldn't be able to say that. You know what I mean? I think the roasts have become very cheap.
Yeah, I think
And
Kevin
that's
Hart
hard.
roast was not taken very well.
We're not even talking about Kevin Hart. He's here right now. I guess I'm not going to be on his network.
Well, there goes that.
Yeah. But Anna, what was the shift from acting into stand-up?
Again, it was one of those things where, well, I got dumped. I had a breakup. So I wrote a breakup set and I told him at the time, I was like, I have to put this somewhere. I've always wanted to try it. And that ended up being popular. People loved it. And it was like the catalyst for me to start. So it was, again, taking trauma, like turning that into stories. So thank you, ex-boyfriend.
And you can't say his name, right? Or you said you would say his name.
I just don't want to.
That's not the important. That's not the important part.
Yeah.
Well, we found him. Zooming in. Can you
Could you imagine?
That kind of
He
show.
just like walks in.
Yeah.
We're just
She'd be like, I am having more mixer. I love that we get to talk about so many high points and low points. And I don't want to bring things down, but I want to talk about how grief can actually propel us as performers and bring joy to us. There's a certain stage of grief that can bring us joy because we can look back and finally remember the good points, which is so hard to do when you first come across grief. I want to talk about moms. And it's funny that grief and comedy go so well together.
Well, I think that's why a lot of stand-ups and comedy actors become great drama actors.
Yes, Robin Williams. The three of us are in a very unfortunate, I call the Dead Moms Club, and Anna twice over.
Yes.
So we will get into that. But Sarah, you say about your show, this is my life story, one that only made sense after my mother's death, when a close relative unblocked buried memories, which completely changed my understanding of my early life and my ability to recognize talent in others. Can you elaborate on that?
In a jolly way.
With the jazz hands.
Yeah.
You guys are crying.
Well, I blamed my mother because, and now we know so much more about autism and all the rest of it. And also the fact that now I see, God help her, she was not really fitted to be a mom. And she ended up with 6 kids in a situation like that with no money, completely isolated. It was a nightmare. And so I can see how so many things happen now. But at the time, I mean, for all those years, I blamed her because she just didn't know how to react to things. She was frightened and hypersensitive and crazy. Yeah, but she did do some pretty horrible things to me when I think of them in the immediate moment. Like you do your whole life, you go, why did she do that? And suddenly when you put it out there, a bit like what you said, you know, when you channel that pain into something else, you start to put it there and you go, oh, I can see patterns. Oh, it's not what I thought it was. They were reacting to all kinds of other things that as a kid you're like, and you carry that child rage and why didn't you do that through your life? We all do. I mean, anybody says they don't is not telling the truth, or they're annoyingly well adjusted and they need to be just excluded from the discussion. Because frankly,
They're just
how many of us
suppressing
are
it.
like, I know.
They're at home eating crayons or something.
The rest of us can't. You can't help it. You carry it, and then you put it out there, a bit like you were saying about your breakup, and suddenly you can see it. Like you get a macro view and you go, "Oh, hold on a second! I didn't realize all of these things." That was what enabled me to forgive my mum. And in the end,
I was going to ask, have you gotten to the point where you're able to forgive her?
she apologized to me not long before she died for the first time in her whole life. She finally. Well, do you know what? I was hanging out at her deathbed for 6 weeks, sleeping on my brother's couch. Clearly not very welcome with my brother, but I knew I needed that bloody closure because I chased after her my whole life, tried to look after, never got any credit for it. And my younger sister, who was very manipulative, and I'm just this big eager bunny going, oh, what can I do? Oh, how would you like me to jump this high? Okay, I'll jump high. I'll do even higher. Look. And that is not good as a performer. People do not want to see that shit. They want to see you go, fuck you, I'm doing this. Yeah. And I think you got to it earlier than I did. Let's put it like that. I've only just got to it in the last 18 months. And I'm going, oh my God, it's the door through which you walk and everything suddenly makes sense. When you stop caring so much about pleasing people. I have literally been a pleaser my whole life. And I'm suddenly going, oh my God, I've wasted everything on that. I'm not saying you shouldn't try to accommodate people. That is
There's
not the
a
same
huge
thing.
difference between a kind,
Right.
loving person, and there's we need boundaries.
Yeah.
Without
And
compromising yourself.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that, when you're in the middle of a war zone, you never get told that you are allowed to have any boundaries.
Yeah.
So you think you've got boundaries. You think, I'm really strong, I can cope. Of course you can't. Somebody just goes, poof.
Yeah.
And so in the show, I talk about what happened there. But when I look back at my mother now in the prism of what I've discovered and the memories that you block. And then they suddenly, I was having shows where literally something would come back to me in the moment. I go, that's what happened.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I didn't know that's what happened. And then, and it all unlocks. And I'm telling you, what I can't believe is the forgiveness and the love and the understanding. Understanding is the key to everything. And the minute you just hit that mine, and you have to go through it, you can't go around it. But the minute you do, oh my God, it just all, the weight comes off your back, your heart opens up. You read that and you go, yeah, right.
No, I don't.
But wow, when it
know.
happens to you, you just go, oh my God, I didn't know the world could be like this. And I'm sorry, I'm sounding really happy, clappy, annoying twit.
No.
But I do honestly feel this lightness, like I can perform and I can have fun and I can love people and not feel scared and just be the person I'm supposed to be on this earth. And not die before it happened.
Oh, love that.
And that was the
Love
thing I
that.
thought was going to happen. And again, like you said, with your breakup, sometimes it's something so extreme that pushes you through the door and you go, do you know what? Anything would be better than this. And then you're off. And I'm just so grateful to whatever divine being is up there, whatever lovely woman is up there.
That's right.
Sorry, guys.
We love a diva girl. If I get up there and Lady Gaga's not there, like, I told you. I'll be really
I've been like, what?
Johnny, they will
Of course, I'm joking. I'm going to be down there. It's going to be Roseanne Barr. Welcome to 24 seasons of Roseanne.
Oh, man.
She didn't even sound like that. That was my...
What voice was that?
scary, but
But Sarah, I also want to say, and we've all been through such difficult things, but when we get to that point of forgiveness for people that have done us wrong, it doesn't mean that we need to say goodbye to the pain and the anger that we feel. It's just the forgiveness is part of it.
yeah. But what I couldn't believe was having carried this burning and feeling, I'm not doing what I want to do because of you. And then it just went away.
Now you're at Hollywood Fringe Festival, girl.
Well, it was like, I was actually at Edinburgh when it happened and I suddenly went, oh my God, I don't think I feel angry anymore for the first time in my whole life. And you realize you're carrying this poison around with you and this big heavy weight and then it's gone. And I swear, I feel like I'm 10 years old again. When it also, I feel like that every day. And I'm going, oh my God, I wish I could tell more people that it really can be like this tremendous release, better than any blooming therapy. If you can get on a stage, that's the way to do it. You just have to drag people in and make them sit there. And
Basically, the audience is your therapist.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes,
Just like,
But it's such a fine, but it's also such a fine line, and you know this as well. As a storyteller, there's a fine line of overindulging yourself, and that you're just a mess of whatever. You have to craft it.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's such a fine line. We've all been to the one-man shows, or one-person shows, and it's just like,
Yeah.
Just
like,
masturbatory.
I'll
you're
pay
just
for your therapist.
Yeah.
It's like,
like, do we need to be here for this?
sing another ballad. And it's like 20 ballads in a row.
I'm glad to say there are no ballads in this show. Because having spent so many years directing and producing, I was like, I can't say any of this. I'm going to have to go, hey, la 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 la. And then this little thing happened, la 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 la.
But
and
we
then
just
this other thing
find
happened.
that.
So it's that, you know.
Right. Well, all those
Because
years
I don't
of...
want to inflict misery on other people, especially if they're paying for it. You know, I'm very clear that that's not a thing, and I wouldn't watch it. Why would I expect anyone to pay for something I wouldn't pay for?
Right. But do you feel all those years of like producing that
Yes.
was able to like let you like cultivate something that's exactly
Yeah.
And plus, you understand the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Which,
You're right.
and you, I mean, how many titles do you have on Jokes with Joysauce?
I mean, I'm like
showrunner, executive producer, director, and I'm just
I'm just literally not crafty. That's like the only thing. I do not.
Food not by Anna.
like on page 2 we get to the next.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
you understand.
You have to.
Yeah,
You understand,
you gotta be a little bit of everything.
To be the first cabaret I ever did, I was 22 years old, and I was like, I'm going to do a cabaret. And when you're that young, you know, I was singing My Fair Lady. But you think, I want to sing every song that's always like On My Own from Les Mis, Don't Cry For Me, Argentina. My show was 2 hours. And I swear to God, this is why I said some drunk guy, he was so drunk, and my 18th ballad, he's like, sing a ballad. I remember
That's
that
why you
day.
That's why you say it.
Yeah.
That's why you say
In fact, when one of my friends was telling me yet another breakup story, I'm like, sing a ballad. So, Sarah, not to be upstaged again, Anna.
Yeah, I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna shut up because
No. I'm just laughing as like we have so much trauma.
Well, because you're really like no. I should be very clear in case you guys at home are going, oh shit, that's right. Look, it's not that. It's absolutely not that. It's really joyful. I mean, I
it's
can't.
refreshing how we can come out from this.
Yeah.
So Anna, you lost your biological mom at 7. It was unexpected. Your aunt comes in as your mom. That must have been a very difficult transition. When did it click? Because you call your aunt your mom. When did it click where it's like, yes, she's the mom role now, and I'm open to that? Was it a circumstance?
I mean, I think that, at that such a young age, at 7, like your parent passing, it's like there was just so much. She passed in New Jersey, and they were moving to Goleta, so like. I think one of the reasons I don't remember a lot before I was 7 is because of that, experience. So, the thing that I realize now, my mom, actually, Annie, passed last July, and she came on board without hesitation. She just was like, okay, you're in my house. You're my daughter now. And think about that now. And I'm like, oh my God, like she really, I mean, she had her own shit. She had her own stuff, and she was working through her own immigrant trauma, ancestral trauma, like we all were. But like, she just stepped up and said, we're taking you in, and who knows where I could have ended up, so I'm really grateful for that. Yeah.
But was there a moment though that you remember, like, that you opened your heart and just
no?
It just was there already.
It was just there.
That didn't matter.
Yeah.
And I do want to talk about, and you've shared this. Your mom died or she had dementia in her last year. Dementia this is part of my family story as well, is one of the hardest things you can go through. From her dementia to losing your second mom. How have you still kept this comedy energy, and how do you still stay so focused on your career and what you're doing, not just for yourself, but for the entertainment community, for the AAPI community? How are you able to keep that strength up? Because that's a lot.
Thank you. When she was getting worse and worse, and we moved in, my husband and I, to help take care of her. So I was basically a full-time nurse for maybe a year or so, and she was on like a feeding tube, and her memory was like, it was like the whole shebang, But I really do feel like I became a nurse, which is like just sort of ironic in my life, being Filipino. But I finally fulfilled my Filipino destiny. So, I keep going, I think, because I think the power of both the women in my family and the people in my family is, they're all so proud of me, and they're like, I'm also related to a woman named Nita Blanca, who was like a very famous Filipino movie star. She's got like a bazillion credits. She was like a Judy Garland of the Philippines. And so whenever I talk to family members, like, oh, nako, you are Nita Blanca. You are our Nita Blanca, So, I just keep going because I think I have to, because those walls are still up for us, I think, in the AAPI community, the Filipino community. And I'm here to break them, guys. You know what I'm saying? Break it down.
And you looked at the system and you're like, this representation is not here. So Joysauce TV, can you talk about how that came to be? And can you talk about some of the obstacles of being on an all-Asian network?
So I had produced an immigrant comedy special with 2 other immigrant comics, Asian Americanized, and it's about us assimilating and experiences. And so
you have to see how eyes dispel, though.
Yeah. I learned from that. No, it's confusing. Yeah.
No, but it's funny.
Yeah. Okay. So
I'm telling you how funny it is. You're the comedian.
Did you know that you're funny?
Did you know? In case you didn't know.
Just want to say. So it's on Amazon, and it's out there. And so I connected with Joysauce because of that, and they wanted new content. At the time, they were just on the web, and they were moving to the streaming space. So I pitched pitched them the idea of doing a whole special of AAPI, and they were like super into it. And we did it. I mean, the challenges were it's a new media company, so there's not as much support as I would like. I mean, even through this Emmy campaign, it's literally just been like me being annoying to people. So that's been mostly the challenge. I think is just not having the hands and the support, but we're getting out there, and so that's what we're hoping. It's what we're hoping to do today too. Is just get us out there.
Yeah. Being part of that Emmy consideration. Can you tell me how you craft your comedy? We had Margaret Cho on the show, and she talked about being an Asian woman in comedy, being a queer Asian woman in comedy. Her inclination was, and we've seen comics of every ethnicity, queer comics, they just kind of do self-deprecating jokes about their culture, which is so low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
But it's also funny, too.
Yeah.
And our culture and heritage are funny. So how do you craft your comedy to kind of balance that out?
That's really interesting because I've actually been thinking about that a lot lately. As I've been talking about myself, I'm like, Anna, don't do that anymore. Like, let's not do that. Like, I've talked about how when I first wrote my first set ever, it was that whole, like, every Asian has done the eat a dog joke, And I'm like, I just don't want to do that anymore.
I mean, like, jokes.
Yeah, it's just like, they find it funny and it's a kill, but it's like, can we? It's so easy. Like let's start talking about different experiences. Yeah, smarter.
Right.
Like you were saying.
Like your gay dog Simon.
Like what?
Your gay dog Simon.
Exactly.
But it's moving on the narrative, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that definitely happened in Ireland.
Should be part. It's a fine line.
Balance, yeah.
Because you still want to celebrate your culture, and things about the Mexican culture are very funny.
Yeah.
Right. And the thing about comedy is that it's usually about disparaging. Like just that's what's funny. It's like, oh, okay, we're gonna like agree on our trauma and like try to like bring that out, but like then it becomes kind of one note.
But it takes an intelligent person to move the narrative forward, which is what it sounds like you're doing.
But I think the fine line too is that we are also unfortunately still catering to the Midwest. So it's like, and so it's the people who are going to purchase and watch and pay for these things. So it's like, sometimes we feel like we have to go over that line because that is going to these are people we're buying. You know what I mean? So it's so by I think again just by creating and making these stories more visible for people, it becomes, I guess, maybe more palatable to Midwestern people. I don't know.
And stand-up used to be the place that you could be as politically incorrect as you want, and you just get it out there.
Now you get canceled.
People get canceled. But some other comics get elevated for, I won't name names, but,
Can you cough it out?
Chappelle. God, that felt good. Between Kevin Hart and Chappelle, this is the last show of On the Rocks.
We will see you never again.
I'll be doing...
We'll edit that out.
Yeah. We'll be doing podcasts in Ecuador. Why did I pick Ecuador, by the way? And Sarah, for your Hollywood Fringe show, Grit, Glitter, and Gaslight, you've had to, like we talked about, dive back into your life, sharing intimate stories. It's very naked for you, because it's you. How do you take care of your mental health when you're performing the show over and over and you're kind of reliving this kind of trauma?
Honestly, the difficult bit is over, and I was actually all set to start on all the parked projects that I've waited all these years to get the confidence to move on with. But what happened was we were starting rehearsal in January with a cut down version that was much tighter and much more focused. And I was going, why am I even doing this? This is just my history. It's not relevant to anyone anymore. And then all of a sudden, all the stuff that we're seeing very rapidly in the last few months started happening. I was going, oh my God, this is really familiar. This is exact, suddenly armed troops in the streets, suddenly, people getting shot, suddenly barricades up, suddenly contraception being banned, suddenly all these things. Exactly what happened when I was a kid. And I think the shock was seeing it beautiful and lovely. And then 2 weeks later, it's not. And I suddenly went, oh my God. And I pulled up to the rehearsal and I was going, I don't even know why we should do this. I wasn't. And I just was scrolling through Instagram and a picture came up of a kid. And he'd just been, he was about the same age as it happened to me, 12 years old. He was in his little bluth. He'd come off the football field, American football. And the kids had gone, we're going to get ice on you. Why don't you go home to where you go? And I was like, and he said, but this is my home, Mummy. And Mum was videoing and she put it, and he said the same lines as were in my show. This is my home. Where can I go?
That
This
was
is my home now.
Wow.
Well, and it was literally I know it sounds really kind of sure. I swear to God, this really happened. I don't make that. I might make it up in here a little bit to telescope things, but this really happened, and I just went, okay, that means there is something important. People need to see this so that they go, there's a context for this, and what's happening has a pattern, and I've seen that pattern go from not being there to suddenly being there. And so if I hear another person say, oh, it won't happen here, and there's a line in the show where my Irish aunts and uncles go, sure, that'll never happen here. Like a week before Bloody Sunday.
Wow.
And you're like, yes, it will. Can I tell you from experience? I saw it. Please, anyone that will listen. So that's when I suddenly went, I actually need to do this show. I think it's important that people go, never take this for granted. The fight never ends, to do things right, to do things the right way. I mean, I don't mean the fight as in, let's throw rocks, which they did a lot of, strangely, in Northern Ireland, and they're still doing. But
well, they had a few fights in them too.
They, the fight to just keep things on a steady keel.
Yeah.
If you're on a boat and it's doing that, you have to. It's always a fight. The idea that it's like, oh, we don't need to do that anymore. It's fine. Don't worry. That's the dangerous bit. And I feel like if I can maybe just wave a little flag and go, I'm telling you, never take it for granted. If you don't stand up, suddenly there's nobody there,
And there are a few generations that don't know what Bloody Sunday is.
I know.
And so when we repeat
would you like me to explain it? Do you need me to explain it?
No, I know.
I know, but do you need me to say it?
Our audience needs
okay,
to
sorry,
Sorry, I didn't think about that.
So Bloody Sunday was, what happened was in Northern Ireland, I'll be really brief, sorry, I don't want to eat up any more of anybody else's time, but just in Northern Ireland, in the late 60s, early 70s, they basically, it wasn't one man, one vote. Basically, all these people had no votes, and the whole thing was gerrymandered very, very severely. And so the result was they wanted to do a civil rights march, and they saw Martin Luther King. I'm only piecing this all together in hindsight. And so I tell it in the story like it's happening, but I didn't know that. Of course, I only know that now. So they were trying to do the same thing. They were trying to protest for civil rights for Catholics in this town. And so they do this peaceful protest march, and it was going really well. And my aunts and uncles, but they were all, what they were was the kids who had no money, but they were really bright, and they came up through the public school situation, which now, of course, they're actively trying to take apart. So they came up and they did this civil rights march. They did lots of them, and then all of a sudden, it was a January march when they were going, look, this isn't right. It's a peaceful march. There was absolutely no trouble. And then there was they say it was a black flag operation. They said it was many different things. I don't know what it was. How could I know? But anyway, all the result was that 26 people were shot and 13 of them died. And that was Bloody Sunday. And my uncle, who was a doctor, was cleaning up the blood instead of actually making his speech. And that happened. And we were barely there a year, It was like all this stuff was happening. And so I was piecing it together and going, look, they were doing the right thing. It was the equivalent of Selma. It's basically when whatever in that case, it was British Army. Here it was, well, we know who it was. They opened fire, live rounds on a peaceful protest march. We all know what that is. And everybody thinks, well, it wouldn't happen again. It can't happen. My aunts and uncles were literally saying to my dad, oh, you're a Brit. What would you know? But he'd been in Cyprus on the draft, and he'd seen the same scenario happen in front of another peaceful protest march. They were protesting against being invaded, and they got shot. And it was like by the people who were supposed to be doing the peacekeeping. It was the British Army again. This isn't heavily anti-British either. I'm just going, here are the facts. We know. Can I just point out, if you put them together in a line, there is a thread here. I'm not siding with anybody. I'm just going, that's what it is. So that's, anyway, sorry, I said it would be brief and it wasn't. I'm going to zip it.
That's pretty big.
Because there's so many complex issues leading up to that.
Yeah.
Right. Just like we in the U.S., we had the Capitol Hill,
the insurrection.
Yeah. There's so many complex parts to it. And to your point that we can't get too comfortable.
It's the familiarity of it to me is the thing that made me go, no, you need to actually redo this.
And our younger generations
somebody
need to
might
be
see
active.
Something that makes you go, shit, I shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No. And this storytelling, what I love about Jokes of Joysauce is we get to see the stand-up, but then we get to see all, it's 7 comics, right?
It's 13.
Oh, shit.
Woof.
Yeah.
It's now the second season. But there's a round table where...
That's my favorite part, actually. Yeah.
It's so intriguing because we think Asian. We forget how many different directions Asian goes to.
Yep.
So some of the comics are experiencing somebody from a different part of the Asian community for the first time, and people are sharing intimate stories. It's not like jokes. What have you been most touched by? Something that you learned through these 2 seasons that one of the comics said?
So we have a comic, Ali Malik, and the first thing he said, it was to the audience, like, you guys are all looking at me like, why am I here? He's Pakistani. And you know, he's like, this is still an Asian comedy show, you know? It was really important for me to represent.
He was really funny too.
Yeah. Everyone in our world, because I feel like we're complex, you know, we're from everywhere. So, the roundtables were, I think, really. We probably have like 50 more hours of footage of us just like.
I can imagine that should be its own show.
Yeah, it really should be its own show. Us just
and
like
there's queer representation too.
Just mention dropped episodes.
I know. We should just do like that.
Oh, that sounds fascinating.
Yeah.
An Asian woman how to do her job.
No,
I'm just kidding.
Do you see how scared I got?
I was like, yeah. Did you see his face? Joysauce would like to release this statement. I saw your eyes. You were like, no, I'm kidding.
Just the fear.
It's a joke. We jump on the show.
But it was really important for me to also show the side of the comics and their stories that wasn't.
I absolutely love it.
Yeah, wasn't just them on stage, but it's like seeing their lives and who they are. I think when I initially pitched it to them and the comics too, I was like, oh, this is a comedian Cards with Coffee meets The Moth. You know, like we're really telling our stories to each other and with each other and within our community. And then I talk about this a lot, but it's something I loved so much. I wanted to make sure that everybody felt like it was home. So our crafty was all Asian crafty, and the comics heads were exploding when they're like, this is what I ate when I was a kid, you know, because you don't experience that when you're on a set. It's all, you know, so like having that.
Subway and chips.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that was cool. That was really cool. Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely. That's so thoughtful as well. That kind of creates an atmosphere.
Right.
Yeah. It's really touching, by the way.
Oh.
In the way that it's bookended with the stand-up.
Right.
It's really it's so well done.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of it.
Okay.
You're gonna make me cry.
You're a crier, girl.
Good tears.
Go for it. Go for it.
But isn't it funny? You can be as funny on stage, and then there's this part. But you know, as performers, there's always, after we give a performance, there's that moment that we feel ourselves that, did I do good enough? And it's lonely being on stage.
Yeah.
You know this. You're doing a one-woman show. You do stand-up. It's lonely on stage.
But I think a lot of people don't realize, you know, it might be comedy, but there's so much emotion behind it. And
smart comedy comes from experience and smartness. Okay, Sarah.
Oh dear.
Hot seat.
Sounded like the headmaster.
hot seat.
The time has come.
Oh shoot.
For you to listen for your life.
Are you kidding?
It's a drag race thing.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Do they have drag race UK?
Yes.
I mean, they have drag race Ethiopia at this point. It's
I
like,
think they do.
They have
lipstick for your
they
meal.
have Drag Race Antarctica at this
How bad is
point.
that? Ethiopia's going to cancel us now.
No, they have Drag Race
We are
Antarctica
not
at this
streaming in
point.
Ethiopia anymore.
Should be cancelled.
Grit, Glitter, and Gaslight,
Yeah.
now playing at Hollywood Fringe. You got a couple of nights in, right?
No, we open tomorrow night.
Are you excited?
Yeah, kinda.
And you've done the
As
show.
excited as I would ever dare to be.
And you've done the show around. And is this your first performance in the U.S. since I saw you last?
Yes, since I saw you last.
So to tell our audience a little
Yes.
background, I got to see Sarah perform. It was at Bar Rasputin in West Hollywood.
Oh, okay.
It was
It's probably
over
not there
10 years ago.
anymore. Yeah,
Is it not?
No.
Oh.
It was a nice room, that.
Oh, you knocked it out of the park. But I haven't seen you since.
Rasputin, West Hollywood? That's what's going to
Yeah.
that's bulldoze. It's gone.
So that's the last time you performed in...
In LA, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah.
So LA audiences are obviously very different, right?
Yes.
How do you think? How do you think the
much
show?
different?
I mean,
Yeah, you have to like adjust.
yeah. Like,
Yes. Well, yes, anyway.
Yeah.
what kind of energy do you anticipate?
I really don't know. I think what's happened in the last 2 years, and it's been such a change for me, is that all the years I have spent adjusting to performers' energy to make things okay and make things happen.
Right.
I'm going, the audience are a lot easier to manage, frankly. That's the truth.
You can manipulate them a little bit.
No, it's not so much that. You can feel how they're feeling, and you can go... It's very different from trying to make things work for someone who's going to do something else. So you're kind of always secondhand, if that makes sense. Whereas when it's like, they're right there and you're there to do a job. And if they're going, oh, we'll go with that story. That's a bit down, but we're going there. You hear, oh... or they're going, no, we don't want to go there. Can we go? And you go, oh, okay. And you know this. But for me, this is new. For me, for any stand-up, I know this is like old news, but for me, it's exciting because I've only ever seen it at one remove.
But you've been storytelling with every music release you've had.
Kind of.
One of my favorite songs that you did was Mama, remember?
Oh, yeah. I know.
That smoky voice.
Oh, you've never said that before. I'll take it, though.
No. But you have been telling your story through your music.
Do you know what I've been doing? I've been kind of telling it and then running away from it. And I couldn't just stand in front of myself. And that's because of what happened when I was a kid. And what is so joyful about this is I'm not hiding anymore. I'm just going, look, this is me. I don't mind anymore if you like it or don't like it. Because I could have been dead. So, hey, here we are. It's all a win. You know, and
Love
it's actually,
this.
it's joyful then. You know, it's you know, if I see them go, oh, we'd like a more fun night. Go, okay, I'll give you a fun night. Here, let's lift everything up and off we go. And you just, you know, I mean, it's a weird show, but you can go anywhere with it.
Yeah.
But do
you feel that you've ever been overshadowed by your persona? Because in the music videos, in the music releases, even your live radio productions, I mean, it's a production. Do you feel that you've been hiding behind a persona and now that you're not?
Well, I think that well, it's something you'll know. It's like you kind of create this persona, but it's everything I dreamed of being as a kid. It's everything I wanted that was cut off at 10 years old. And I get to be myself. I get to put my sequins on. I mean, honestly, I am a secret drag queen myself. I swear I
She's
live.
not a secret, though. I see those lashes from across the street. It's not a secret.
These are the short ones. These are the short ones, baby.
Her eyelashes were beating me first. I was like,
they're like beetles.
No.
They enter the room first.
Well, you know,
Lash first.
I had to stop
There was a little tickle.
I had to stop because I couldn't see. They were actually getting in the way of my
You had to
sight.
take off.
Yeah.
I thought she was winking at me. Come be in my show.
And you're going, baby, you're bogging up the wrong tree. It's okay, don't worry, darling.
God, I've missed you.
Oh,
You
it's
haven't
so
changed
great to
one
see
bit,
you.
though.
I'm worse now. I'm afraid. Be afraid. Be
I'm
very
so
afraid.
excited. But in terms of talking about persona and hiding behind a persona, you know, stand up, you present your funniest self, even if you're talking about trauma. How do you kind of your mental health in terms of, God, I've just done a stand-up act. How do you relax? And do you ever feel overshadowed by this strong woman persona?
Meditation is a huge part of my life.
That's so hard to get into. When did you first start?
I think around the breakup is when I started exploring it, and it's just changed my life completely. Like
that breakup was the best thing that happened to you.
Thank you.
It kind of seems like it.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
What's the meditation process?
Oh my God. Nothing bad.
That's why she had to meditate.
What the hell was even that?
But what was that process like for you? Like, what is your meditation process?
Well, I do want to go back to the and we will go to that.
Yeah.
But the strong woman, it's freaking hard, you know, because sometimes, like, even working on the show where it has felt a lot like, even post production, even in through this campaign where it's just been, you know, a lot of me, I've just been like, I don't want to be the person holding this up anymore. Like, I would like.
It's exhausting.
It's exhausting. Sometimes I do want to just be weak. Like, I just want to and just
or let somebody run the show. Let somebody else do the acting. Let somebody else do our representation.
So
Michelle, can you just do this for another minute?
So sometimes it is challenging. But meditation is just my practice. I get, it's part of like my morning routine. So I half hour every morning, and I've got an app, and I just have my coffee, my espresso, my cats on time, and meditation. And that's
so that you're giving. I mean, you have kids, right?
I am a stepmom.
Yeah.
And then I have my two cats, so they're definitely my kids.
Well,
I'd feed the cats first.
he
Love
likes
animals.
He loves
hate children.
He loves children.
No offense to your lovely children. Sarah, with everything going on, how do you know what direction to go to? Filmmaking, radio, stage, releasing music. Now you're a cabaret star.
Well, I think this is a story that now I realize I need to do honor to a lot of the people like my aunts and uncles, those who really kind of led the way in the civil rights movement. And these are people that I ran from all of this. I don't want anything to do with this. It's nothing but bad vibes for me. And now I'm going, but now I'm going, oh my God, how did I not see what they were doing? How did I not understand they were doing something amazing? And so I want to actually use this to film it and tell their story. So it's sort of like a, I don't know, life story, drama, documentary, whatever, so that my story just becomes the thread, but actually you're able to tell all these other things that have never been told about all of that period. And everything has led to where we are right now, you know, where they're burning out immigrants out of their homes in Belfast. And how did that come about? Well, let me tell you, I didn't know. I think a lot of people don't know. And nobody is objective. And weirdly, I'm in this situation where there's like one or two other people like me. Everybody else, if they were in this situation, got out. No, we couldn't. So I feel like I've got a unique perspective to bring to that, and therefore I should do this. Just, it should be done. It's an important thing to tell. Not even so much for me anymore, but because then I think people can see parallels, and hopefully that's what you can see in this version of the show. It's no longer about me. I've done my work now. I'm ready to go. But I feel like there's stuff in here, but a lot of people around the globe can go, oh my God, you know what that's like? Oh, you know what oh, this is a bit familiar.
Yeah.
That's all. And then I'll feel my work here is done. Ultra Scout can be over and out. That's
I think as a storyteller, our ability to bring something on the stage or on the page and allow others to be seen, that is so powerful. Like that is what we're here to do, right? Is like when somebody tells me like that was my experience and you know, you're not Filipino and but you had that experience and you feel seen. I'm like, I did my job.
Yeah.
So.
It's the best feeling, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, that is like, and that for me ultimately is like, that's what humanity should be doing all the time. If we just shared these experiences, things would be very different, wouldn't they? You know, that's lovely.
And Anna, you know, you're like this powerhouse for the show. You're also your own actor. So how do you know how to balance? Obviously, you want to be an activist for your community, but also you have to pay the bills. So how do you balance that out?
What do you mean in terms of time or in terms of like...
What do you prioritize?
Yeah,
prioritize.
Yeah, 100%. Like, where do you know where to focus? Like, yes, I'm doing all this for, you know, Joysauce.
Yeah.
But, you know...
But I got to pay the bills.
I need to be on,
I got to book that Wendy's commercial. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, I feel like I've been lucky enough to build my life around being a working actor and a working writer. So it's taken time. I mean, it's definitely taken a lot of time.
Yeah.
But actually yesterday I just booked a reoccurring on a very popular streaming series. And so I'm shooting tomorrow. That's why I'm not drinking, because I have to look skinny. So
Girl, it takes 2 days for it to show up. He's actually the help of... how long does something take for you to... Oh, but you like alcohol?
It depends on what
Yeah,
you're
'cause the
drinking.
bloating.
This one, I'm asking him when he's ever been bloated.
do you know the
Excuse
word?
me, two guys telling
the word
women what's going to happen with the book.
Oh, yes.
Excuse me.
Feeling, not an appearance.
Steve, did you
hang on.
This is
Two
hilarious.
guys telling two women what you need to do to bloat or not bloat. We'll say that, shall we?
First of all,
I've been bloated for 5 years on record, just so everybody knows. 5 years I've been bloated. I'm waiting for the bloat to go down.
And I'm just one that's like, I feel like bloating is a feeling, not a physical appearance.
Here's the funny thing.
It's an idea.
Here's the funny thing that people don't realize. So, who eats more? We will go out. He'll eat a whole large pizza himself.
We'll be at the bar, and he'll just be like hanging out, and I'll just be.
These
in the
are my
corner skating.
calories.
Yeah,
I'm not eating there. I'll have a few bites, and then I am done.
Yeah.
So they always put the plates in front of me, and he's like,
also
no,
got like 10 times.
and they pause. They don't know what to do.
It's so funny. They do put it in, and it's like awkwardly like, this is mine.
This has been so much fun.
So much fun. My face hurts from laughing. Ow.
But do you see how this all like mixes in?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anna, what is your message to your fans?
To my fans?
Yeah. Would you say it like a question? Yeah.
No, my hearing is terrible.
She hasn't heard half the show. That's why she's laughing. You guys are hilarious. I didn't listen to half of it. Welcome to our podcast audience. They're like, Sweetie, when's the last episode you listened to 5 years ago? What? No. I'm just kidding. We love you. No. This is so
God, you got us canceled from everybody today.
I'm curious, what is your message to your fans?
Yeah.
Oh God, it's never been like problematic. I just want everybody to be able to tell their story in a respectful way.
All right, now you.
I think the same thing. I think
That was clever.
I know. Ditto. I would say, just, I don't know. I feel the first thing that came to my head was like a bunch of dumb cliches, just like, if you fall, pick yourself back up, or, you know what I mean?
Follow your dreams.
Cliches exist for a reason.
Yeah.
Live, laugh, love. We just did it on the show.
Yeah. I would just right now how I feel is post my mom passing away recently is just keep going. That's how I feel. Is just keep going.
Push forward.
Yeah. Push forward. And eat adobo.
What is that?
Important.
Oh my nako, adobo. You've never had adobo?
What?
Oh
What
my
is that?
God!
What
I'm
is
bringing
that?
adobo to you.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's a Filipino dish.
He's the eater.
Okay.
You guys, I keep laughing at this show. Sometimes we have guests on and we're like, ha ha, that was funny.
And that's actually what it sounds like. We're like, ha ha ha.
He'll say like, you fake laugh. I'm like, no, I did not. I really laughed.
The worst is when you're around, you must say, when you're around comedians, as I spent an awful lot of time here, they go, I'm watching another comedian, like, yeah, that was funny.
Yes.
Then why didn't you laugh?
You're like, oh, God, I hate you. I
Can
hate
I tell you, comedians are the worst podcast people because they're not doing their shtick. They're being them, and they're like, "So, tell me about the evolution of comedy." Yeah, it happened.
It evolved and it changed. And
But
there
like,
it
I don't know, I
was.
was on coke. And then I'm like, "Do you have any more?"
So you're gonna share?
You are so engaging. You are so wonderful. Where can people find and follow you?
Ana Tuazon Parsons on Instagram, and same thing on Facebook, and website anaparsons.com, and Joysauce TV. Please check us out.
And how do we help with this Emmy? We should just like
If you're an Academy member, yes, hop on the voting site. We're also, our episodes are on the site itself, so you can watch them there, and consider us. I can't say the V word, but I can say
I can't vote for them.
Yes! You can consider us.
But even if you're not a voter, just like share the show and
Yes.
share these stories.
Yes.
It's so engaging. And you can, so how I listen to it, like I had it in the background and I'm doing my job and I'm just laughing at all the comedians, but also the round table. And the round table is when I was like, stop. And I'm like, you went through all of that, girl.
Yeah.
I need to pour myself. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, also, we're doing a screening at the SAG Foundation on Monday. So we're
that's
doing
amazing.
a panel and a
You know
screening.
who's going to be there?
Yeah.
Probably Sharon Lawrence.
Oh my gosh. We should go. We'll be back from San Diego.
I'm saying, yeah. So we're doing that on Monday with the foundation. Yeah.
She's the vice president of the foundation. Sarah, what is your message to your fans?
Oh, God. I'm just going to...
And you have fans, by the way.
Baby. Keep going. And
Keep trucking on.
Yeah. Well, no, it's true. It is true. Just keep going, because otherwise, what the hell do you do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I nearly didn't. And I suddenly went, oh, shit. I was thinking,
I have to do all this
I'm
stuff.
happy to give up. And then I went, as soon as the option was nearly removed, suddenly, oh, no, I'll stay here and I'll do whatever it takes. And then everything changes. So whatever. Blah.
All right, tell us where we can see you.
You can see Grit, Glitter and Gaslight at the Madnani Theatre, and the dates are all over the place. Shall I read them? They're really boring.
Read
15th to the 20th. So it starts tomorrow night. 22nd, 23rd, and then 26th, 27th, 28th at the Madnani Theatre, which is 6760 Lexington Avenue, which I thought was in New York, but apparently you got one here as well.
Lexington sounds very New York.
Right.
And then you get there and there's like a 7-Eleven and 3 homeless people.
I'll tell you what, it's right next to the McCadden Theatre, whichever.
Oh, that's
okay.
This is the
gay
bright
lesbian
new
center.
gorgeous one that's been put
I
next
cannot
door
wait.
to it. It's a lovely theatre,
I will be there on the
actually. I might
27th.
move in. Ooh,
Do we buy tickets ahead of time, or can you just show? Probably buy
you
tickets
can
ahead of
show,
time.
you can buy
Okay.
it ahead of time. You
It's
can
the
do
Hollywood
whatever.
Fringe.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. What does it say? Let me tell you what it says.
She's like, I don't know. Just
They said what?
I didn't agree to this.
That's not true.
If you buy
it
tickets
is. It's
early,
all true.
there's a free lap dance.
Should be right there.
I'm a pleaser. Yes, there is.
She did say that, girl.
She's
We can get you on OnlyFans.
Ticket, no, just sort of not really, but yeah, come anyway.
I have to tell you, ladies, this has been such a joy.
Pleasure.
And to
Yeah.
have such strong women.
Do you think it's a moment for us all to say a prayer?
No.
We're all Catholic, so no.
Can anybody remember any?
We're all, oh yeah, we are all Catholic.
Yeah, that's what
I can sing Ave Maria and I say,
threatening, and then you back off.
I
Come
haven't
on,
sang.
Alex. You
to be honest,
twos.
and it's funny, we're talking about storytelling. I haven't been able to sing publicly since my mom died.
yeah,
Oh.
There's just like a shut off.
yeah.
It'll happen. We sang at his house after
Oh, yeah.
Well, this is
Yeah.
Because I'm a
Yeah.
pianist. So.
Yes.
Are you? Oh, wow.
professional people. Oh, it was really good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I squeak out a tune every now and then. Boop. Again, what a joy and what a blessing. We could have gone for 2 hours.
I'm like,
I didn't
we're
even get
done
to like
already?
page of
I
questions.
know.
Yeah.
I know. We're even 30 minutes over.
Oh shit! I'm sorry. We're gonna get sued. That's fun.
Parking.
Wouldn't be the first time. Now we're canceled in every nation.
This has been the best episode.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all, folks. It's always a grab bag of fun here every weekend on The Rocks. Thank you to our audience. Thank you to our engineer who worked overtime, by the way.
Sorry.
Sully.
I wonder if he's even there still. He probably
He's
peaced
like,
out.
I saw the door close earlier.
A big thank you to Straw Hut Studios. Yeah.
Yeah, please like, share, and subscribe so we can continue bringing this fabulous programming coming your way.
For free.
Until next time,
Stay happy, stay healthy, stay sexy, and if you drink,
stay tipsy.
This has been another episode of On the Rocks. Tweet me and slide into my DMs on Twitter and Instagram at On the Rocks On Air. Find everything On the Rocks for free at OnTheRocksRadioshow.com. Subscribe, like, review, and share. Until next week, stay fabulous.